welcome to my channel. Today we're talking about October budget wrap up. So October was a crazy month for my husband and I. We had some surprise expenses come up as well as a big planned expense, but we were still able to reach our financial goals and surpass them. And I am so excited to show it to you. So if you haven't seen my videos before, my name is Becca, and here on my channel I talk about budgeting, debt payoff, finance, and all of that good stuff. So let's get into it. Okay, so this month was a really good month for us, just income-wise, but it was also a bad month for us expense-wise. So I have blocked out the income for just privacy reasons, the exact amounts of each of us, but I am showing the total amount, and let me zoom in. Okay, so in total this month we had planned to bring in $61.41, and we actually brought in $8,573.15. And as you can see, so 756 of that was miscellaneous income, and that just includes birthday money that I received, because October is my birthday month, as you'll see in the expenses section, and sinking fund money that I used to pay for several expenses, as you'll see. And then the last one was the first utilities payment from our renters was $200 of that. So that's why I budgeted $200 for miscellaneous, because I knew that we'd be getting that from them, and I didn't expect to get the birthday money or to use the sinking fund. So that's where that number comes from. And then I'll move down to this section. Okay, so first section in our budget for tithe, we had budgeted $750. We actually did $971.84, which I know is a lot percentage-wise of our budget, but actually, so 100 of that was money that my husband had, like from his income from a previous month that he had not tithed yet. He was waiting to allocate it towards something that he really cared about, so he found an opportunity to help, and he used that this month, so that's kind of where the extra amount comes in. And then next is rent and water. It was $1451.24, so pretty close to what I budgeted. My phone bill was $57. I just send that to my mom, so it's always the same, except for this is the last month that I am paying off my old phone. Finally, so I'm done with that. And then Wi-Fi, $61.10. That's the same every month. Car insurance was $153.93. Oh, I don't know what. Sometimes I'm just not writing what my brain is telling me to write. 93. Whiteout is my best friend. Health insurance was $160.37. Renter's insurance was $12.09. Our electricity was $75. Ring insurance. So we have insurance on my engagement ring, and we renew it once a year, and the policy is $51. So that was due this month. It's just been a year since I got it, so it was up for its first renewal. And my ring, honestly, it's not like the most expensive ring, but it is the most expensive piece of jewelry I've ever owned. And I am notoriously clumsy and forgetful, so I just knew that I would not feel safe having something of that much value on my hand if I didn't have it insured. So we paid for that. And then, okay, so these are all expenses for our new house that we bought. As I've said in my other videos, we currently have renters in there, but we are just charging them a flat rate for utilities, and then we're paying them because they're only there for 6 months, so it didn't make sense to have them have to sign up for everything in their name when everything is on a year-long contract. So the first one was water and sewer, and I'd budgeted $250 just because I knew that there was a $200 deposit due, but it actually ended up being $269.35, and I found out, so $200 of that was the deposit, and I found out that $69.35 is like the minimum amount that they charge. So like all the bills have minimums, and this bill was only for the first 2 days we owned the house because that's like their billing cycle, but we still had to pay $69. So that's a bummer. And then Wi-Fi, so I guess like when I signed up for it, they charged us right on the spot, but it was for the month of October. So we actually only had to pay $135 this month. I'm not quite sure, but next month it should be back to normal. But that was nice. And then electricity was, for them, was $96.88, which I'm kind of upset about because when I picked an electricity plan, I picked the one that is supposed to save you money, and it says like you get a discount if you use between 1,000 and 2,000 of gigawatts. I don't remember, whatever the energy measure is, and they only used 567, so it actually ended up being more cents per usage than if they'd used 400 extra of that unit. So which is just really a bummer, and I wish I'd known that because maybe I would have picked a different plan and I'm locked in for a year. And then the gas, so we didn't have to actually pay that for this first month. I got the bill, but it's not due until November, so it'll be part of the November budget. And then the total on that section is $3,361.15. And then move on to expenses. Okay, for expenses, for groceries, this is a category that really just killed me this month for various reasons. So for groceries, we spent $451.36, and I don't know. I think that, so we actually like got paid more because there was an extra paycheck. So that I guess there was an extra week in October, which I think is why we spent so much in groceries this month, because of that extra week. Usually it's under 400. So, and I don't know, but next month I'll try to keep it under. And then eating out, we spent $145.06, which is under budget. So, whew, good. And then gas, we only spent $39.56 because both me and my husband only had to fill up one time. And my fill up was $15 because I drove a Prius, and his fill up was the other $25. And then, shopping, we spent $132.60, which, you know, I wish that, honestly, I probably shouldn't have so much in this category, but I just know that I'm going to spend it, and I'd rather budget for it and not be disappointed than to not budget for it. So it's fine. And then for my birthday, so I budgeted that we would spend like $100 like doing stuff, because for the day, so it was on October 10th, and I turned 23, so I'm newly 23. And we went to like a fall festival kind of thing, and then to a downtown square in a nearby little town, and it was really cute. And we got dinner there, and so this was all the cost for that and the shopping, and it ended up being $163.93. And so $112 of this was my birthday money, so I got $125 in like birthday money. So I said that was income so that I could mark it as an expense. And so 112 was that minus, obviously I tithed on that money. But then the other $51 was for my birthday dinner, which I initially was going to include in eating out, but then it was just killing our eating out budget, so I moved it to my birthday because it was a $51 dinner, and we normally would never spend that much like on a dinner out because we just don't do that, but we did, so I just moved it there so it could break that budget line and not that one. And then subscriptions was $58.79 this month, and this included some like not always, like they're not monthly expenses. Like my sister pays for Disney Plus and it's due once a year. And I help contribute to that because I have a profile on it. So I just send her $20 once a year, and this was the month that was due. So that brought that over. And then auto. So this is the one that really killed us this month. My husband's car just didn't start one day. So I had actually budgeted this $100 for it. I was planning to get an oil change. I knew that that was coming, and I usually either put $100 in the budget or in my sinking fund, but I was like, okay, I'm going to spend that this month. And then his car broke, and it was going to be over $500 to fix. So it ended up being $556.83, which was like, oh, just right to my heart. But luckily, so we had $311 in my like auto sinking fund. So that helped cover it. And then we just had to save less, but it ended up being okay. But that was just a big fix that I wasn't happy about. And my husband's car is also from 2003, so I just am a little worried that these fixes will become more frequent. And so we talked about it, and we said instead of saving $100 every month for auto, we need to start saving $150 because $100 is just not enough. So that next time this happens, we'll be able to fully cover it from the sinking fund, and it won't be as big of a deal. And then new phone. So my birthday gift, well, from him, my birthday gift was supposed to be my new phone this month. We almost were going to go on like a little weekend trip to Oklahoma, but then my phone was just terrible. It was like a 6S that I've had for 4 years, and I've dropped it repeatedly, so I'm terribly clumsy, and the battery was just like about to die always, and I work for my phone, and the screen calibration was messed up, so it just like was not working, and I needed a new phone. And so I got the new iPhone SE because I knew that if I got anything more expensive, well, because we were going to pay for it fully with cash, because I didn't want to ever finance a phone again, because I don't like that. And I knew that if I got anything more expensive, I just wouldn't be able to handle it. I would probably drop it. It would be a mess. And so this one has like all the processing systems, like the most updated ones, but it also keeps the same body, like it looks exactly like my iPhone 6S did. So I do like that because it makes it still easy to use, and I don't have to lose my home button. I did lose my headphone jack, which I know everyone else has lost that like years ago, but it's difficult for me. But so anyway, so that phone was $400, and then I also got like the OtterBox case and like a Zag glass shield just to fully protect it. And that ended up being $472.01. And then gifts, this is, so we purchased some Christmas gifts this month during Amazon Prime Day. I got my mom, she really wanted like the Ancestry DNA kit, so I got her that. And then the rest was, and then my nephew's birthday was this month, so we got him a little, just a cute little toy, and it was only $10 because we also are going to start, it's his first birthday, and for my other nephew, these are my husband's sister's 2 boys, we started a 529 plan for him on his birthday this past March, and so we're going to do one for this nephew as well, but we just haven't set it up yet, so the money hasn't come out. It'll probably come out next month. But most of this was my husband buying me presents, even though this was supposed to be my gift, but he still bought me a bunch of presents because he's the sweetest. So that's blew our budget. We actually spent $178.76. But it's okay because like we had the money. It's just a bummer because like these 3 categories like killed us. And the miscellaneous was $59.40, and I don't even remember what we spent there. And then health, so I hadn't budgeted to spend any money on health, so like this is why there's not anything there. It had been 0, but then I ended up buying 2 things that equaled $30. I had to buy some vitamins and some medicine, and so I just took that out of my like health sinking, or like I didn't transfer that much over to my health sinking fund. I transferred $30 less than we would have initially over. And so total in that category, we spent $2,288 So not great, but it's okay because I always know usually that we're going to make more than the like amount that I budget for. Usually my husband makes more than that. So it's always just kind of like a worst case scenario. So we usually have more money, which maybe isn't a great mindset for me because then I'm like, oh, this expense is fine. And maybe it wasn't fine. But okay, let's move on to the bottom. So savings. So usually I do $10 a week into like a Roth IRA just through Acorns. But then I started panicking earlier this week because I was like, what if we're not saving enough early enough? Like I know that after we pay off debt, my plan is to like really save 15% of our income towards retirement. But I know that it's very time sensitive. So I just was like, okay, like that was always for me. And now that my husband is also here, I should probably double that. So I changed it to $20 a month at like the end of the month. So the last payment or the last investment that usually hits was $20 instead of $10. So it ended up being $60 because also I think there was an extra week in the month. So that cost that. And then vacation, we saved $100. We are going to, or fingers crossed, we are going to Belize in February. So we're just saving for spending money. The flights are going to be covered because we have some travel credits, but that's just going to be for spending money and fun money. And so is the hotel. That's also covered. And then health. So I said I was going to do 100, but since I did 30 up in the expenses, I only did 70. And these are cash envelopes. This is Acorns. And then home maintenance, I ended up doing 30. I had forgotten that I was going to start that as a budget item because we just bought our house. And so I just took like leftovers and put it there. And the next, it should be higher in the future. And then gifts, we didn't spend any, or we didn't save any because we spent it all, and same with auto. And so then that was $260 total. And then debt, I put $402 like I planned into my student loan. And then actually my student loan kind of journey and how much I have left due on that and my plan to repay it should be live on my channel right now. So I will leave a link to that and you can go check it out. And then, so with these savings repayment and checking repayment, these aren't really debts, but we bought a house last month, my husband and I, and we hadn't planned to buy the house yet. We were waiting till March of 2021. So we hadn't fully saved for the down payment. So we borrowed money from our savings account and our checking account to make the down payment happen. But having a healthy savings account is really important to us because my husband is self-employed. So we want to have at least always kind of between checking and savings around 3 months of expenses right now. And so we are trying to repay that. And I just put it in the debt category. That way I can feel like it's not a savings. We can't do less for it. Like we have to get this filled out and make it feel more like an obligation. And so this month I had put that we were going to do $659. We were actually able to do $2,000 with the extra income that we had, so that was really good. And I'll actually show you, I used like just this little sticky note to kind of track that, and this is my like house repayment. This is how much we took from each section. Is it focusing? Okay, yeah. So we took $4,600 from savings and we took $2,000 from checking. We usually keep $3,200 or $3,500 in checking as our like minimum balance, as our zero. And so in September, I was really focusing on savings first. So in September, I repaid $1,700 to savings. And then just like whatever kind of was the surplus after this whole round number, just to checking. And so then this month, I did another whole round number of $2,000. And then I just did like the leftover to checking. And so then next month, we have $913 left to repay in savings and $1,667 in checkings. And I think we'll be done with savings next month and pretty close to done with checking. And then we'll be done with that and I can totally get back to focusing on just my student loan debt. But so we ended up doing, like I just showed you, $261. It was actually $261.70. I just rounded up in that thing. Because that was, so our total income was $85.73, and then I subtracted our bills total, our expenses total, our savings total, and the other two debts total, and this $261 was the balance. And so I added that, or I allocated that just to stay in the savings account, so it didn't really move, but it still like was repaying that to have our income equal our expenses. And so that is a zero-based budget. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you would, please subscribe to my channel and give me a thumbs up on this video if you want to see more content like this. Thank you guys. Have a